Welcome back, everyone. I hope you are having a fantastic day. This is the last video in my mindfulness series, and I've sort of been back and forth on whether I actually want to do it, because I want to talk about my morning routine and my daily routine in living this mindfulness lifestyle. And the reason why I've been sort of back and forth is because everybody's routine, everybody's journey is different. And so things that would work for me might not work for you. But in the end, I decided I want to tell you guys about this because the difference that it made in my life, in my mental fortitude, was so profound that I think that it could motivate you. I hope that it could motivate you into doing these morning routines, or finding your own morning routine, finding your own daily routine, to stay in the moment, to find a mindfulness lifestyle or a mentality throughout the day. Because what it does, right, what it did for me, the biggest difference, sort of, what it did for me was I'm able, when I start my day with a mindfulness activity, and I'll get to those things in a few moments. But when I started that way, my mind, firstly, I'm able to separate my identity from my mind. Like we've spoken about this in previous videos. If you haven't watched the videos, I would suggest that you go listen to all the videos in this series, because we speak about how we are so connected to our minds, that our identities and our minds are basically inseparable, which is wrong. Like, we should not be affected by our thoughts and our feelings. We should be able to find peace and acceptance in those things and distance ourselves from them. Because then, once problems or situations in the day arises that would normally just make you spin out of control, make these anxious and sad feelings of frustration or anger so much worse. If you lead a mindfulness lifestyle, if you start your morning, if I start my morning with a mindfulness practice, I'm able to react to those situations in a more calm, a more positive way, and in a less severe way. These feelings won't affect me that much. And don't get me wrong, just because I start my day with a mindfulness activity doesn't mean that, oh, now I'm automatically just like calm the entire day and chilled and relaxed and nothing bothers me. No, of course these feelings are coming back. They are recurring throughout the day. If there's a problem that I've actually been dealing with for like a few days or a few weeks, those feelings are there. But because I start my day with a mindfulness practice, those feelings are so much more, they are so less severe. That's not how you speak English. Sorry. But they are less severe than what it would have been. All right. And so the moment that they become then a bit stronger, you're able to then say, okay, I've got my strategies. Let me deal with these feelings and thoughts. And so when something then comes up, like a situation, then you can react to it in a more positive and a more calm way. And that's why I want to tell you guys about this, about my things that I do, because it makes such a big difference in my life. So the first thing that I do, like I wake up 40 minutes before I would normally wake up. All right. And so I think you guys know by now, I am a Christian. So I get a cup of coffee and then I go sit somewhere quiet and I pray for 20 minutes. Now, praying for me, number one, helps me to improve my relationship with Jesus. It helps me understand the Bible better, the messages, the way that Jesus wants me to live, the values that he wants me to have, that sort of stuff. It helps me with that. But secondly, it's also a meditation practice. Like sitting quietly, closing your eyes, you are bringing your attention 100% inwards, between you and God. All right? And so nothing else is intruding in those things. Your thoughts, your shadow friend, your mind, nothing is intruding in that conversation that you are having with the Lord. Okay. And I know not everybody's a Christian, not everybody prays, and I'm not trying to tell you that like you have to pray or anything like that. I'm just telling you that finding a quiet place in the morning with just you and your body, your internal environment, and you just becoming quiet is such an effective way to start the day, right? Then the second thing that I do is I do either 20 minutes of yoga or 20 minutes of meditation. I go on YouTube and I find a meditation. If I do meditation, I normally try and connect it with a recurring feeling that I've had, or a feeling that I'm having that I had the previous day, or I'm still having that day. If I'm stressing about something, or I'm worried, or I'm feeling sad or depressed maybe a little bit, or I'm feeling anxious, I get a meditation where I can listen to somebody help me through those feelings and accepting those feelings through meditation, all right? Or I do yoga. I never did yoga, and when I started doing yoga, I actually found how difficult yoga is. It looks like a bunch of stretches that you do, but it is so difficult. And I'm not a big gym guy, but I go to the gym every now and then. And yoga is very tough. But it does help you to once again bring your focus inwards, to put aside the negative thoughts, the sounds, the things that happens in your general lives. It stops you from focusing on what's going to happen in the day. All right, so that's then that second 20 minutes that I do. Then I make breakfast, blah, 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 I drink coffee, so forth and so forth. But then I have a list of things that I wrote down to keep me in the present moment throughout the day. And in my previous video, I spoke about that list of 6 things. So I choose 2 of those things to, whenever I find myself not being present, like stressing about something, these things that I've been talking about now, I refer back to those 2 things that I've chosen in the morning, whether they are to listen to the silence between things, or to bring your focus inwards, to experience the energy, your body inside, to listen to pay like close attention to the sounds and the people in your surroundings. I choose one of those things. So when I then drive to my work, the 10 minutes or the 20 minutes or however long I spend going to work, I focus solely on achieving those 2 things. So if I decided to pay attention to my surroundings, the flowers, the trees, the people, as I'm driving, I'm focusing on the road, of course, but I'm also focusing on those things. I try to see the birds and the trees. I try to listen to the wind. Once again, that just brings your focus to the present moment, so that you are not thinking about the day. I'm not ignoring my problems for the day. I'm choosing my mental health. I'm choosing to be present and not worry about things that's going to happen or might happen in the day, right? So that's sort of what I do as I'm driving to work. Okay. Once I get to work, this is definitely not for everybody. My job is of such a nature that the first half an hour we're sort of getting ready I'm a teacher, so we're getting ready for work. And I'm a PE teacher, so I don't have necessarily that much prep to do. Don't tell my boss. That's just a joke. But what I do is I spend 5 minutes writing down 3 things that I'm grateful for. 3 things in my life that I really appreciate having, all right? It's sort of like, it becomes almost repetitive in a way, but writing stuff down, also spoke about this in one of my previous videos, writing stuff down gives you like ownership of that thing. I know what I'm grateful for. When I pray, I tell God what I'm grateful for. But being able to write it down, seeing it, putting it on paper, making it something physical, gives me more of a sense of pride in that thing. I'm grateful that I have my mother. I'm grateful that I have a job. I'm grateful that I that I can live in Asia. You know, I'm grateful that I am able to walk by myself, that I'm not like sick or have a chronic disease or anything. It makes that so much more powerful when I write it down and I see it every day. Okay, so just 5 minutes I spent, and I would suggest everybody do this whenever you have time throughout the day. It is really so powerful. It's such a powerful thing. All right, then I go through my day, I have my stuff, I teach, whatever. Then normally you become less and less present throughout the day. You become tired, your mind starts taking over, you're having these situations. When I then realized that I've been doing that, okay, that's why my tattoo is also there, to refocus. I see my tattoo and I remind myself, become present. So then I think of those 2 things that I wrote down in the beginning of the day, or chose in the beginning of the day to make myself present, and I refocus on them. I look at the stuff around me. I listen to the silence of things. I focus solely on a specific thing that I'm doing. Bring my whole attention to that activity that I'm doing at the moment. And that just brings you back into the present moment. It quiets your thoughts. It makes those feelings of whatever negative feelings you have, it makes it less severe because you're accepting it. You're seeing it float by like clouds. And so for me, that's very important. All right. And then the last thing that I do is I choose 5 minutes somewhere after lunch, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whenever, when I've had a busy day already, I've been active, my mind's been going, to just sit still quietly for 5 minutes. Just be quiet. Bring my attention to my shadow friend, to my mind. If you don't know what I mean by shadow friend, listen to my other videos. I just sit quietly, I close my eyes in a quiet place, and I listen to my mind. I become the active observer of my thoughts, and I quiet my mind. I reassure my shadow friend that everything is fine. And so all of these strategies, all of these things that I do and that I use just helps me, like I said, to become quiet, to become peaceful, to find peace in every day, because it's life is tough. Like, life is not easy. There's difficulties every day, and these things are leading a mindfulness lifestyle, and it helps me so much. And I really think that if you do a similar thing, if you incorporate similar strategies, you can achieve that. All right. So guys, please, I haven't mentioned comments in a while, but like, for me, this is a community. I want us to talk about these things together. I want us to deal with that stuff. And at present, the only way we can do that is in the comments. I have future ideas of what I want to do, but in the comments, like, tell me, what strategies do you use to in your morning routine? Do you have a morning routine? Like, is it effective for you? What do you do to help you prepare for a stressful situation that you know is going to come in the day? These things, tell me about them, and I might use them. I want to use them in future videos, like to help people. I won't mention names, of course, but I will use these strategies of our community to help people in the future. All right, or people are reading it and we get it from there. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to this entire series. I've had fun making it. I love mindfulness, and it's been an awesome time, guys. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one. Cheers.